Hey guys, this is Jim again. Sorry I haven't done another video recently, but it was the beginning of the school year, and it's always a hectic time for us because we have to get our kids in school, and then Stephanie and I are both working in the school districts for the county, so it's always a busy time for us. But I wanted to do another shave video, mostly as an ode to, or as a shout out, positive respect for Stirling soaps. Right now my Marvy mug has a puck of Stirling Glastonbury in it, which I really like, and then they say it's very much like a hippie scent, and I concur, it is. It's very spicy, patchouli, and I'm sure you can find reviews on it online on Stirling's website if you're interested in reading ingredients lists and stuff like that. Those are available on Stirling's website, along with, I'm sure, a lot of great reviews, and they've been getting some really good press on YouTube lately. So I was planning on reviewing another soap today, but I wanted to shave with my Stirling. Plus, I really love my Marvy mug. I can't say enough good things about my Marvy mug. Right now I'm using a what's commonly referred to in the current wet shave vernacular as a Frankenrazor. I got a few techs. I got 2 tech heads on eBay that have been replated in rhodium, and they shave really well. This one, if you can see, has straight slots underneath. You can see these slots right here underneath the safety bar. Here, let me take it apart, you'll be able to see it better. Plus I'm dealing with some hay fever right now, so bear with me. See these straight slots? That is indicative, from what I understand, it's a post World War II tech head. And here I keep it in a little bag in my shaving kit, just wrapped in some paper as it came from the eBay seller. Just found this little bag, and paper were handy. Is a post-war, or no, I'm sorry, a pre-war head. The other is a post-war head. This is a pre-war head. And as you can see here, the little slots. This is a post-war head. It was made in the U.S. There's lots of print on the bottom, but it's a post-war head. And this is a pre-war head made in the USA. You can see these slots are different. This one has like a kind of a triangular shape slot to it, and I found in my shaving with both that what is said by most, I found to be true, that the triangular pre-war head is a bit more aggressive. Noticeably so, but not markedly so. It's not like the difference between, say, if you're familiar with Edwin Jaggers or McClure or Müller, it's not the same as like the difference between like a Müller R89 and a Müller R41. It's not that drastic, but it is noticeably more aggressive. Like if my goal is to not have a quick, safe, good shave, but to have a thorough baby's butt smooth shave, I'm going to use the pre-war head because it's noticeably more aggressive and enough to achieve a baby's butt shave, smooth shave, so, or baby's bottom, whatever, what have you. Let me put that away. So my goal is I'm just going to have a quick shave with this because I got to work tomorrow morning, and it's been 2 days, so it's just going to be quick with some touch-ups. But this is a 3-piece razor. Right now I'm using a It's a Personna Red. I bought it at the 99-cent store. Doesn't have any markings, but it was, you know, it made in Israel, Personna Red. And it fits just fine. This is the pre-war head, or the post-war head, I'm sorry. The blade alignment is amazing. These can be purchased very affordably on eBay. And it fits great in my Maggard MR5 handle, which I find to be just perfect for head shaving because I have to change angles frequently. You know, if I'm hitting something like a cowlick, and you can see I can change my angles, and as long as I have a mirror so I can make sure my head alignment is fine, like when I start to shave, I can change that grip easily because of these, both the knurling and these contours. You can choke up, you can, you know, have a longer grip depending on what you're doing. You can have a really long grip, and there's plenty of knurling and texturing at this end. For head shaving, it's hard to get better than the MR5. It's definitely a competitor for head shaving handles. So, like I said, this is going to be a quick shave. I'm using Stirling Glastonbury and my Marvy mug. My Marvy mug is never been without a Stirling puck in it. I find their soaps to be awesome. Apparently, they had some issues with their base soap formulation in the past. But I only started wet shaving recently in the last few months. And I've talked to Rod, the owner, and he said in that period of time they've sorted those issues out. And now, lately, in the last week, the traditional shaving enthusiast, among other very experienced wet shavers, excuse me, I'm going to grab a salsa bowl. The traditional shaving enthusiast on YouTube, you can find a lot of reviews for Stirling soaps. You can probably just put in Stirling soaps for shaving. And I've been giving Stirling some very good reviews. He gave a Stirling soap, I think it was orange and menthol soap. He gave it a 10 out of 10 for performance and a 10 out of 10 for price, which I don't recall the last time I saw him give 2 10s to a soap that even approached $2 an ounce. So, but in wet shaving, I mean, I could go buy cheap disposable razors and just do what I've always done and shave with hot water. No soap. I mean, I shaved for years and years, head shave and face shaves, with no soap, just hot water, and never really had a problem. But occasionally, the occasional like ingrown hairs and things like that. So for me, I'm doing this more as a, you know, a luxury to myself. It's not so much a to strike back against Gillette, because I'm using a Gillette Tech, a vintage Gillette, probably made in the late 40s, early 50s. This Stirling soap, all Stirling soaps in my experience perform the same. Great lather, easy to load up. The pucks take a little bit longer. You could, I suppose, bloom them, but in my Marvy mug I don't really bloom it. I just lather it like I hate it. Beat it like it owes me money, and it gets the job done. Load that brush and get it going on my head. I like to head lather because I find when you have your textured bowls, things like that, like a lot of people get the salsa bowls and then they have to rub them with sandpaper to get texture. But I find after a day or two's worth of growth on my head, It doesn't get much better of a lathering surface than that, because it's rough. I've got all those hairs, and then of course the lathering action that I'm performing hydrates the hairs, exfoliates the skin. So just add a little bit of water. I can get a nice thick lather really easy by just head lathering. Some people like to bowl lather. I prefer to head lather, and then I use the leftovers on my face. And by the time I'm done head lathering, my brush is full of nice thick lather ready for my face. So I'm not going to do a BBS tonight, or even try to, because I'm using that post-war head. That post-war head is about as close as I've found to a cartridge razor or a disposable as far as safety goes. It's hard to cut yourself with one of those post-war heads. If you're using the rules, following the rules of wet shaving, you know, no pressure, map your hair growth or beard growth, doing those types of things, you're going to have a hard time cutting yourself, because you're following the rules that are there, that have been learned over the years to prevent shaving, or prevent cutting yourself while providing a good shave. So if you follow the rules with the Gillette Tech, I'd be really surprised if you cut yourself. So I'm going to do my first pass with the Tech, and again, that's a Personna Red. Just going to try to go a little, not fast. It's kind of like shooting. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Because you go slow, you follow the rules, and you don't make any mistakes, and that's what gets you in trouble. So, no pressure. And this is really slick. Really slick soap. You'll see that's good. You can barely hear much whisker at all there still. And of course it's a Personna Red, so it's a Israeli made blade, more than decent. More than decent. And these techs are incredibly well machined, very well designed. Not to take anything away from modern razor manufacturers, I have an Edwin Jagger, a DE89, very good razor, but it doesn't have the tech. There's something to be said about the way it holds that blade in there. After I'm done shaving, I'll show you. There's a little thing, or you could just Google it. Look it up. Instead of having posts, as you see, it has no posts. There's no posts in there that hold the blade. There is, however, on the top of the cap inside, this top cap, on the inside, running down the length of this cap, there's a long rail, and it fits the length of the blade. And there's something to that, the way that it holds that blade so steady. When you lock that down, it feels like, it doesn't feel like the head's holding a blade. It feels like the head and the blade are almost one piece. Very, very sturdy. The only complaint I could possibly have about the Tech, and if this is a big pet peeve for you, you might want to steer clear of the Techs, unless you want to develop some kind of expedient little workaround. As you can see, the blades tends to be a little bit of an overhang. And the only time that bothers me is when I'm shaving around my ears. It's the only time it bothers me. But I have a lot more surface area to deal with than just my ears. So as long as I'm careful around my ears, it's fine. I'm going relatively rapidly with this Tech, and it is wonderful. I changed a little bit of my shaving method. I'm finding that rather than going lengthwise down my head and back, I prefer to go across. I don't know why. I think it's the way that I think I get a little bit more stable surface contact with the blade and my head. And I know technically that's an across the grain for my head on the top and also on the sides up here. But this Stirling soap is plenty slick. Don't have a problem with it. Now my hair growth is a little funny. I'm not technically going across the grain right now, because my hair growth is on the top is forward and on the sides it's a bit forward as well. So I'm kind of going like right now I'm not technically going east-west. It's more like a northwest to southeast. But the Tech is fine. I can get a good shave. I'll see some of you might be seeing how rapidly I'm going. A lot of that has to do with, I have a lot of experience shaving my head. I've shaved my head for years. But I can attest a lot of that as well to how mild this Tech Head is. It's amazingly mild. Amazingly mild. It's my preferred razor right now. In fact, there's so many Techs available on eBay, aftermarket, you know, NOS, new old stock, new original stock, new obsolete stock. I don't know how many different ways there are to define that acronym, NOS, but there are many new old stock Tech razors out there. Some of them are travel Techs. Now they may have a zinc alloy head cap. They may. This does not, however. But I don't think that you would have a problem shaving with them. They are also going to be very, very mild. I have no experience with them, but I probably will be getting some soon. I plan on buying a new travel Tech in the near future and using it on my Maggard handle to shave with, just to see what the difference is like. And you can get new old stock travel techs for 15 bucks, 20 bucks. Shop around, be a little patient. You can find new travel techs for $15 to $20. They're very affordable. I'm just going to do my head real quick, and I'm going to, actually that one pass on my throat, right here on my throat, is pretty good. I'm going to do a little touch up though. Another across the grain, and I'm going to leave it at that. But it's very nice. I'll do a little bit of cleanup here on my cheeks. Just a little water. That Stirling soap is plenty slick. I'm not going to get any kind of irritation or anything. Now I know these head shave videos are a little bit longer than face shave videos for the sheer fact that, let's see, I didn't even barely do anything with that brush. It's still got plenty in there. I always find that I hear these reviews where the guys will say, I loaded for so long and I've got enough for so many passes, but I'm covering a lot more surface area, so I kind of take those with a grain of salt. But there's still plenty of lather in there. I'm not going to push it all out, I'm just going to push it up to the top. There's still plenty. Good lather, that Stirling soap. And some people really put a lot of stock in the smell in the container. I don't do that. It reminds me of people that would really make a big deal about the tin note, the smell in the container of pipe tobacco. I always found that to be silly, because just like pipe tobacco, shave soap is a performance product. It's meant to be used. I'm much more concerned about the scent of the lather when I'm putting it on my face and the post-shave scent. To me, that's much more important, because the scent in the tin can be deceptive. Just like pipe tobacco, the shave soap, it can be deceptive. One note might stand out more when it's in there, but once you aerate it, and other notes that aren't getting the kind of attention before it's been aerated will jump out. And a scent that has notes that are stronger in the tin, those strong notes will become a little bit more subdued or fade off when it's aerated. So I don't put a lot of stock in that. Now this is actually across the grain on my throat. You might not believe it, but it's true. My growth on my throat is crazy. I'm sure some of you have some experience with that. So yeah. Okay, what should I do? We'll go the other direction. Just gonna go for a DFS tonight, so no big deal. I just want it decent. I gotta go to work tomorrow and I want to be presentable. So like I said, it's quick. The Tech really... What do I got going on? Oh, okay. The Tech is very, very mild, very forgiving, and this Stirling soap is so slick and so cushioning that it reminds me of shaving with an old Schick, with my old Schick disposables and just hot water. Or some conditioner. Yeah, feels good. Just a nice smooth shave. Now if I want to get closer, I just ramp it up. Right now I'm using a Personna Red, which in my experience they shave about as well as a Personna Lab Blue. If I want to ramp it up, I'll throw in an Astra SP, the Platinum. Or if I really want to ramp it up, I just grab my pre-war Tech. Yep. No nicks, no cuts, no nada. I can jump in the shower now, get out. So yeah, if you're doing a lot of head shaving or just shaving in general, and you're not happy with vintage handles, they might be too light, they might be too long, they might be too skinny, they might be whatever, you could always throw aftermarket handles on there. These are made to work with Gillettes and they work great. And again, another shout out to Stirling soaps in general. I have almost 100% satisfaction with everything, and if you ever have a problem, you can always contact Stirling, speak to Rod, and as long as you have a legitimate complaint or a legitimate issue, he'll bend over backwards to help you. He wants satisfied customers. So everyone have a good night, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.